We're back. This is the Draft Season Podcast. It is your boy Young Raz coming live from where I often do, Queens, New York. We have some esteemed guests today, some regulars, two of the most diabolical, people that we know. One is a hater, one is an astute reporter and an analyst. We got K-Lou, we got
the hardest working Jamaican in podcasting. The brother K-Lou.
I don't understand why the white man gets a compliment. I get called a hater.
You're definitely
a hater. You're definitely a hater.
I didn't lie. I've never.
There's levels.
He's the hardest working podcaster in the game, and I've never been on any of his pods.
Is this what we're doing again?
It's the truth. The last time you was on here, it still was true. What was that, 5 months ago?
Bro, you were on one of my podcasts. What are you talking about?
This is true. And we got my boy Sean 5K talk to him.
You already know, man. Draft Season Podcast. You know what I'm saying? Fantasy Black Twitter's #1 fantasy sports and entertainment podcast. We in the building, man. First episode of 2022. I'm bugging, man.
Wow.
We don't want to get into that.
Tom ain't real, man. I'm sorry, Mr. Omicron. I'm sorry. But yeah, I hope everybody out there is safe. But yeah, man, it's a lot. It was a crazy week 18, week 18. Crazy week. A lot of stuff to cover. We're gonna get into, just a lot of fantasy recap stuff. We're also gonna preview that Super Wildcard weekend coming up. But yeah, man, it's been a minute. So I mean, Raz, what's going on? What needs to be addressed before we get into the proceedings this evening?
Roger Goodell, even though he's going to hell, he's a genius, man. That week 18, I was real skeptical. That shit was potent as hell. Had me watching Steelers, Ravens, overtime. The Jets, surprisingly, had a 4:00 game. We watched that for some reason, but then the Sunday night game, was explosive. I'm not gonna step on the rest of our content for the rest of the podcast, but I just want to say that Goodell, I see why the NFL keeps bringing in this money, because no matter how much you tell yourself like that, they don't care about the players, they don't care about nothing. That week 18, everybody was still tuned in, and it was still theatrics, fireworks, storylines. The playoff wasn't settled until week 18. So shout out to the NFL for that, I guess. Players, I feel for y'all, but the money keep rolling.
Yo, nah, man. I guess we could start there, because that's still fresh on everybody's mind. But that Sunday night football game was amazing theater. You know what I'm saying? Yes. One of the best.
That was the drunkest game I've ever watched.
I want to start off by this. This is a tweet via FBG Chase on Twitter. Shout out to him. That's a great account. It says in the first 271 games of the season, there were just 21 times all year that an NFL team completed a pass on 4 for 9 or greater for a first down. In the final 5 minutes of the last game of the season, plus OT, Justin Herbert completed a 4 for 9. He completed a 4 for 9, 2 4 for 10s, and a 4 for 21. Yeah, man, the kid Jay Herbo is insane. I think nobody wanted to see the damn Steelers get in. Nope. I feel like I could speak. I don't want to speak for you guys, but I feel like I can speak for you guys.
You can speak for us. Yeah, yep.
On board with that.
Damn right.
But
what is a perfect way to send old ugly ass Raffensperger
big rape?
Perfect.
But listen to this, right? Like watching that game, and you're like, wow. This shit is storybook. Like, it's really about to end in the tie. And motherfucker called timeout. It's the worst timeout in the history of timeouts. I think Chris Webber. Shout out to Chris Webber. That timeout was awful. And it's like, I'm 100% sure that the Raiders were content to tie until that timeout was called. And it was like, fuck you. Because what was you going to do with that extra time? He was going to try and run down and score the other side. So now we're going to get this field goal.
I think the main beef I have with the timeout, at first I was kind of on board with that idea that Bisaccia, once Staley called the timeout, was like, all right, screw you guys. We're going to kick the field goal and knock you out of the playoffs. I think the bigger issue I have with the timeout is I think the Raiders were going to run the ball regardless and then probably take the timeout. The bigger issue I have is that Staley, before the timeout, had Kenneth Murray Jr., his best linebacker, in the game. And then after the timeout, he took him out of the game, which was really weird for some reason, because then you put a bunch of safeties in there that didn't follow the run fits, and Josh Jacobs breaks off a 10-yard run, and then all of a sudden, what was it, a 47-yard field goal? That makes a lot more sense for them to try and kick than if they would have stuffed them at the line of scrimmage, and it's a 55-yard field goal, and a lot of things can go wrong with a return or something of that nature. So he outthought himself, as a lot of coaches do. I mean, I also have bigger issues with other decisions he made throughout the game than that one in particular, but I just don't know why he took out Kenneth Murray Jr. At the end of the day, like, what lost in the game is that they had the 30th best run defense in the league, and that bit them in the ass at the most important moment.
Yeah, I think, and when you're really talking about, like, it's a dirty game. People love, like, wins are not a QB stat as much as people do not realize that, like, using wins to, like, justify if a quarterback is good or not. That's just not great analysis. Like, I'm just gonna, like, it's in one ear out the other. It's not really great. It's not. But yeah, you look at that Chargers team, and like I said, man, you took it right out of my mouth before I was about to say it. But yeah, that run defense, like, we could talk all we want about the damn the timeout, but the fact is they couldn't do a damn thing with Josh Jacobs basically in that OT for sure. And they kind of contained him for most of the game. But yeah, and I saw a stat that said 130 of Josh Jacobs' 132 yards in that game came after contact. So yeah, the Chargers, you really look at it, Justin Herbert, what I'm saying, he's the future of the position. But yeah, they're gonna have to improve on that defense.
They also, I think, I think the biggest issue I had with them last night was their right tackle, Storm Norton was his name, was getting his ass whooped by Max Crosby snap after snap after snap. And the Chargers, this is something that, just from watching the Packers as closely as I do, something they do really well, something they've done really well with some of the offensive linemen they've been missing this year. If there's a bit of a mismatch, especially on the edges, help him out. Chip. Put a tight end in line. I get you want a guy like Jared Cook to be available for Justin Herbert on the route tree. But at a certain point, when Max Crosby is in Justin Herbert's face every single play, you have to do something to help out. And they did nothing. Storm Norton just got whooped every play.
Caleb, I'll ask you this, because I know a lot has been made just about Brandon Staley and, his decision-making towards the end of games and being really aggressive. So, I mean, just on, I guess, from, playing Monday morning quarterback, about just his job he's done as a head coach. And I know there's a lot whenever people do the analytics thing and people love playing the results. And I feel like with regardless of what we're doing, and this could be, people love playing the results. Now, I'm more of a process over results person, because if you're thinking about things the proper way, more times than not, you're probably going to get a good you're going to get the results that you want. It's not always going to come out. Sometimes sometimes I, like, if I feel like if I was a head coach, sometimes I would be like, fuck it, we're going for 2. Fuck it, we're going to 4th down. Anything 4th and 2, we're going for it. And I'm just live with the results and be like, that's how we playing, and we're going to live with that. And I'm not losing any sleep at the end of the night.
I don't know. So sometimes analytics, my fault to cut you off, but like just watching some of these plays, like sometimes analytics has gotten too deep into the game, and I feel like we've taken away the feel that coaches used to have. Like a gut feeling, even with baseball, sometimes we get into that. But like I say, just like with that play they went for on 4th down there, where, they brought up the graphic, it was like, oh, this was your chance to win if you went for it and blah, blah, blah. Like the numbers kind of lied to me there. Now you can say they don't, because, that's just the numbers, how they're aggregated in the averages of what happens on the football field in total. But like, in your gut feeling there, you can't go for it on 4th. Like as a coach, like, I mean, and like you said, we're playing Monday morning coaches, Monday morning quarterbacks. I guess it's even at this point. But I know you're big on process, but would you have gone for it on 4th there? If that was
you're talking about the 4th and 1 from their own 18? Yeah, that was insane. That was insane. I like Brandon Staley. That was insane.
But I'm saying, like, Sean is a a big proponent of process. So I'm saying, like, if that's your process as a coach, right?
I mean, in general, more than that specific.
No, I know, but I'm saying
they've had a bunch of.
I was just saying, US 5K on the sideline. Are you going for that?
Not there. But I think about more of the Chargers Chiefs game, because they missed the playoffs by one game, and I feel like there's a bunch of situations where you can look back if you missed the playoffs by one game, and those are the type of decisions that really, if they kick that field goal at the end of that Chiefs game, you know what I'm saying? They're not on the outside looking in right now. It's a bunch of things. But where do you come out on that, Caleb?
I like the aggressiveness for the most part. Sometimes it borders on reckless though. Like going for and the call on the 18-yard line. Would I have done it? No.
That's a Madden call.
Okay,
that's a Madden call.
My bigger problem is the play call though. Like
Correct.
if you're gonna do it, why are you running Austin Ekeler right up the middle? Why? Like that ain't his
after they got stuffed literally running the same play on third down.
Right. Like the play call, it bothers me way more than actual going for it, even if I would not have gone for it in that spot. If you're gonna go for it in that spot, put the ball in your best player's hands. Your best player is Justin Herbert. It shouldn't be rocket science.
Agreed.
Or at least run a damn different play than you ran the play fucking before.
Like,
How about that?
Don't get me wrong. Ekeler definitely a playmaker. Put him in space and live with it if that's what you're gonna do.
Even if you're gonna give him the ball, don't smash him between the tackles. That's not his game like that. It's not. So ultimately, I think Brandon Staley is good for the game of football because we have conversations like this. Not many coaches are lightning rods in this way where we're having big ass conversation about basic shit. Like Brandon Staley went for 5 fourth downs against the Chiefs, and I think 4 of them were either 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. And yet the next day, the entire dialogue was about, oh shit! Wow, is he too reckless? Is he this? I think the conversation is good.
And the Chiefs game too. A lot of those were at the goal line. I don't think
if they kick one field goal, game's over at the end.
That's going back to the process over results thing. The process says that if you're and especially when you have a quarterback like Justin Herbert and playmakers like Austin Ekeler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, the list goes on, you punch one of those touchdowns in and the game looks a lot different. I'm never going to be mad about a coach with a good offense and a great quarterback be aggressive at the goal line. And to be honest, I think that's part of the reason that locker room buys into him is because he puts that trust in them to make plays in critical situations. I'm like the way he got killed after the Kansas City game was way over the top. But the 4th and 1 from their own 18 last night was batshit crazy, absolutely insane.
Right, and the thing about the Chiefs game, like one of the 4th downs was an absolute seed that Herbert threw to Cook in the back of the end zone. Not Cook. Who did that do? Parham. And then Parham knocked himself out. Like, what do you want? Like, he literally had the ball in his hands and hit the ground and knocked himself out and dropped it. If he catches that, maybe we're telling a different story. And last night's game doesn't even happen like it happened.
Yeah, I'm not. I didn't mean to bring that up as killing him because I'm kind of with him along the whole way. Like you said, the Parham thing was real. It really came down to they couldn't get a stop when they needed it.
Right.
When they really needed it
because if they hold Josh Jacobs to 5 yards instead of 10, who knows what happens? Maybe they just say, fuck it, we're not taking no 50-yard field goal. We did our job. We made the playoffs. We don't know that.
Yeah, so I mean, I will swing this to you, Raz. Obviously, we are recording on the precipice and the eve of the national championship game, Bama versus them dogs, Georgia. Real quick, while we're on the subject, for everybody that will be go back and listen to this on the replays, Raz. Can I get a score for the game today? What we talking? I heard you talking about that Bama money line. So where are we at on this? I don't know if you have any bets. Talk to the people though.
So the only bet I got going right now is that that New York super boost on that FanDuel because that FanDuel hit the streets like crack in the 80s. So that's the only thing I got. That's the only thing I got going right now. But I was thinking of that Bama money line because it's like you take the Bama money line and you lose. The bookie earned that money. The book really earned that money because Bama, how many times you can sit there and say that Bama was the underdog, especially in a national championship game, right? Like, there's no harm in putting 25 on them to win. As long as you got your bills paid, put some money on the money line for Bama because as we were saying offline before we hit record, like Matt said, can you take the
student over the teacher?
Yeah, right. I gotta see somebody beat Nick Saban that's under his coaching tree. I haven't seen it yet. So until then, we're gonna pound that money line. But in terms of the score, because I took the over of 39.5 or whatever the hell it was. I'm hoping for something 34, 31. But I know Georgia's defense is incredible, and Bama can play some defense too. So let's go with a real ugly score of 28-24, because how are we going to get there?
Yeah, man. Now that that gambling hit New York crazy, man. Got them purple tops, man. Got them purple tops. You know what I'm saying? That pandemic.
Yes.
What did you lose last night? I saw your tweet.
Bro, I had a bunch of parlays on.
No, but the ones you lost by one, because that's when you're really welcome to the game is when you lose by 1 point, 1 rebound, all that.
I had 2 bets yesterday. I had Austin Eckler and Josh Jacobs over 64.5 yards. They was both close. Jacobs in overtime, he basically ran through that. Austin Eckler finished with 64 exactly.
Oh my God.
I needed 65, and I think I had Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell over 19.5, and Anthony Edwards ended up with 19. So not even like it was low-key just one. It was a half on each that those bets didn't hit. But yeah, man, that's the game. That's the life, this degenerate life that we have chosen.
Hey man, I took an indefinite break when I missed the parlay by 1 leg because Kristaps Porzingis grabbed 9 rebounds and I took the under on 8. I was like, nah. If he's grabbing 9 rebounds, I gotta lose on that. Like, I'm gonna take a break, dog.
These odds makers got a nigga from the future telling them what's going on. You can't tell me anything otherwise. I can't. It just does not make sense, man. No fucking way. But yeah, moving on a little bit, we can. This is a really crazy season, and we're gonna kind of mismatch this fantasy end of season playoff preview type of spiel. So I mean, let's just get to some of these awards real quick. We could go around the room and see where we end up. But I mean, Matthew, I will start with you. I kind of have a inkling of where you will go on this, but NFL MVP, who do you have?
The guy who plays in Green Bay.
Devontae Adams. That's nice.
AJ Dillon. What are you talking about?
I hope people realize that when Rodgers wins his 4th, like how rare of company that is. I mean, Peyton's the only one with more at that point.
You really a homer. This is incredible. You really moved out there and became. I know you're really a Packers fan now, brother. Don't deny it.
Well, just going as I see it. You know, I'm not going to go out of my way to praise Tom Brady. He can finish second.
It's good for business. You can't.
Yeah, it's great for business. Let's say don't deny it and don't put it on wax. Just say I'm a Packers fan. We're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna speak.
I ain't a fan. I'm just calling how I see it. He's gonna win, and I think he should.
He used to bleed green. Now he bleeds green and yellow, Raz. It's the way it goes.
I don't blame him. It's quite
to be honest, the funny thing is, me and Kalu had this conversation last week. If you would have told me when the whole immunized and vaccinated scandal popped up that would have helped his MVP case, I would have said you were absolutely out of your mind. But I think it did because hold on, here we go. Because the Kansas City game, obviously, Jordan Love was thrown into a nearly impossible situation, and the offense was really, really ugly. And since that game, Rodgers has lit the world on fire, and they cruise to the 1 seed and the only bye in the NFC, despite the fact that he missed that game. So if that doesn't show his value to the Packers right there, I don't know what does. So in a weird way, I think that whole scandal actually helped his case. Now, if they wouldn't have gotten the 1 seed, I would have said there's no shot that he would be able to win it, because then the narrative would be that his selfish decision to not get vaccinated cost him the 1 seed. But he's so good that they got it anyway. So I think that kind of makes his case right there.
I mean, I want your answer on this next, Kalo. I don't know if you have any objections to Matt's MVP dialogue right there, but yeah, man, I saw Phil Yates tweet this out earlier. But yeah, Rodgers had 37 touchdowns and just 4 interceptions. Now he has 3 seasons of 35 passing touchdowns and fewer than 5 interceptions. Every other player in NFL history has combined for just 1. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is like anything we have never seen before. But Kalu, do you have a retort to that, or are you on the Rodgers?
I think the COVID point / Jordan Love playing the game and looking like trash is. I could do without that, but I agree with the point though. I think Rodgers is MVP. Basically, like Rodgers and Brady, you could pick one. It's picking nits, really. I think Rodgers has just been better, so I'm going to go with that. I know that's not exactly mind-blowing analysis, but that's what I got.
Before Raz, I don't know if you.
Yeah.
I mean, for the sake of content, who
Mhm.
would be your non-Aaron Rodgers?
Okay,
MVP?
thank you. He's getting real boring on this shit.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, come on, we
Cooper
gotta shake
Kupp.
shit up a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Cooper Kupp or the god Debo Samuel. We gonna shake it up. Debo Samuel doesn't deserve it at all, but Debo Samuel is the greatest football player of all time. I've seen enough, but Cooper Kupp is a real
No objections from me.
Man,
Yeah,
thank
like,
God Marlon is on this podcast.
I've never seen Debo.
Shout out to
Well,
friend of
he's
the show,
also
Marlon.
University of South Carolina too, so big Gamecocks fan here, unfortunately. But I think Debo, I haven't seen him get tackled on the first tackle yet this year. You know what I'm saying? And he threw a touchdown, I think, yesterday too. So I mean, Debo's doing it all. But obviously Cooper Kupp would be the other option for me. Like what Cooper Kupp has done for that Rams offense before Odell got there, and since Robert Woods going down, and even before that, he's literally been the lifeline for Stafford. And Stafford's looked bad in a few games. And Cooper Kupp has bailed him out a few times. I mean, he didn't break the record, but Cooper Kupp has had an incredible year. So I think that would be a nod I would go to if I had to pick somebody that wasn't Aaron Rodgers.
By the way, I don't know if you saw this graphic on the broadcast yesterday. Rodgers finished the year 37 passing touchdowns, four interceptions. He now has the sixth highest touchdown interception ratio seasons. Like the top six are all him. So yeah, I mean, you guys know how I feel about him. No one's ever played.
We get it. You doubling, you triple down on Rodgers.
Matt, Matt is
Let's say new, though.
Matt is
at least
our
I'm consistent.
Matt is our Green Bay insider. So I mean, for the record, at least, I mean, I did not have my 4 eyes on the Packers-Lions game yesterday for obvious reasons. But from the second half of that game, they did have Jordan Love playing. So I mean, let's just hop in a time machine. Let's just say that Aaron Rodgers just forced his way out of Lambeau and wherever the hell Green Bay, I guess. What did you see from Jordan Love in that game? I saw some mixed reviews on that. But let's just say we were scouting for next year. What did you see from Jordan Love? And does he look like somebody who at least flashed some signs of a possible starting quarterback in the NFL from your point of view?
Maybe. I mean, it's just so tough to tell at this point. His rookie year, he was inactive every game. And it was a COVID year. And then this year, I mean, there's definitely progress. I think there's even you look at the Kansas City game, and then you look at the fourth quarter of the Vikings game, week 17. And then yesterday, it's definitely progress, which is what you like to see. And I thought it was kind of nice to see that they dialed up a play on the 2-point conversion after the Josiah DeGuara 60-yard touchdown, where they dialed up a play where Love was able to actually use his athletic ability and his legs to convert on the 2-point try. It's just tough to tell and to make. And by the way, for the record, I think that Aaron Rodgers will be back next year. But if for the argument's sake, that if he's not, it's just kind of tough to tell. And I think that it's going to be tough to tell until he gets thrown into a situation where he really gets those starter reps consistently. And I mean, I guess he got a decent amount in OTAs and whatnot, the lead up and the build up to training camp before Rodgers and the Packers settled their differences this year. But I can't really give you a good answer just because I feel like he hasn't gotten enough reps. And I think that their play calling when he's in the game has been very kind of narrowed down. When he's on time and he's in rhythm, yeah, he's got, the arm talent flashes at times. But to sit here and say that, I can make any sort of conclusions about his future as a starting quarterback in the NFL, probably can't right now, to be honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think especially just the reps are super important. And once you get those, just time after time getting those game reps and getting your feet wet, it's still a lot to project what he looks like. But we'll see if that.
And he's playing, and yesterday he's playing with all, basically all backups. I mean, they had a couple of their starting offensive linemen in there, but instead of Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard and MVS, fuck you, K-Lou in advance. Because K-Lou's an MVS hater for some reason. But he's rolling with,
What do you want from me?
He's rolling with Amari Rodgers and Equanimeous St. Brown and those guys, which no disrespect, but I mean, it's just not, the same caliber of guys,
All right, so I think for time purposes, K. Lou gets our next award on here, or just what I'm saying, award of the season. Offensive player of the year. There's a couple damn good arguments to be made for this one. So, in your eyes, who had the most impressive offensive season of the year?
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp.
I mean, he had 140 catches for 1,950 yards or whatever it was. And he was the consistent primary option for the Rams all year. Didn't matter. Robert Woods left. Didn't matter. Odell Beckham came in fresh off of the Browns debacle. Didn't really matter. He was the constant on that team. And he damn near went for 2,000 yards. I think he had the most impressive offensive season. So I'll go with him.
I'm not. Yeah, man. Cooper Kupp. It's a. I mean, we said this. It was just apparent early in the season how Stafford to Kupp was just looking like Montana to Rice, and it did not. Usually be like, all right, they're gonna come back to earth.
Better than Jerry Rice.
There was no coming back to earth at any point. I don't know, man. I mean, what I'm saying, we had this discussion previously, Matt. So it's not really a surprise to us that year 2, this guy was in this discussion, but. That Jonathan Taylor pack is hitting potent, man. I know, K-Lou, we called our man Matt a fraud because we was banging the hammer pre-draft, Jonathan Taylor RB1. And in our own Dynasty League, Matt was gifted by the football gods the number 1 pick in the rookie draft. And he took CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean...
It still ended with Jonathan Taylor. Thank you, K-Lou.
Yeah, otherwise, what I'm saying, there'll be some sleepless nights, but yeah, man, Jonathan Taylor led the league in rushing by over 552 yards. That's, by over 500, he finished above Nick Chubb by 552 yards, which is incredible. 107 rushing first downs, 42 more than any other player. Antonio Gibson was second with 65. So yeah, Jonathan Taylor, man, he's incredible. Obviously, I think he's going to be in. If you tell me you're taking Jonathan Taylor at the 1-of-1 next season, you're not getting an argument from me. But how about you, Raz? I don't know if you which side of the equator do you fall on that?
Those are the 2 options, right? I mean, it probably would have been Derrick Henry if he doesn't go down. But you got Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Kupp, of course, Deebo Samuel. But I think I would go more. I'll lean towards the running back there. I'll go Jonathan Taylor. He was robbed of the playoffs by his quarterback. We'll go there.
Carson Wentz pulled the mask off in week 16.
Man, that episode of Hard Knocks. I don't know if you guys watching Hard Knocks at all. That episode of Hard Knocks this week is going to be must-watch television.
I gotta see it.
I might watch it. I might watch it this week. I haven't watched a single second of that shit. I might watch it.
Pretty good. I actually like it a lot.
Just for the tears?
Once they put the Cowboys on, yeah. The Cowboys were the offseason one, right?
The training camp one, yeah.
So I didn't watch it because who the fuck wants to watch the Cowboys? Other than the world, I guess, because they're America's team, but not me.
Other than Yankees and Lakers fans.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do this, Cardinals fan. We're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do this at all.
This is true. Cardinals and the Yankees. Y'all don't have no type of y'all ain't never struggled.
That's not true.
Root for the Knicks and the Jets. Root for the Knicks and the Jets. What are you talking about?
You're just trying to sprinkle it in there. That's fine.
But Matt, you're about to say something about who the offensive player of the year is?
I think. I think that's the one award that was won yesterday through no fault of Jonathan Taylor's own. But Cooper Kupp had another monster game, and Jonathan Taylor was held back by Carson Wentz, as you guys mentioned. So I think Kupp won the award yesterday. I also think that Deebo Samuel needs to be more in that discussion than he is. I think he's probably a very good third place finisher, but holy crap, he's amazing. And he has absolutely been the engine of that offense. What he's done as a combination of a receiver and a back out of nowhere. They just said, we're just going to throw him in the backfield, and he's incredible. So I think he needs to be a little bit higher in that discussion too.
quarterback too. He also throws the rock apparently.
That's right.
So it's like, I mean, he was also like my fantasy MVP. If we want to go there too, like I had Debo Samuel on a few teams that won me some money. Like he's just where he was falling.
Same here, yep.
Where he was falling, and the value you got for Debo, like it was incredible because, like you said,
miss that next season. You're gonna miss that next season.
You have to pay a premium for that.
All right, so I think rolling through a couple of these next ones. I think offensive rookie of the year and defensive rookie of the year go without saying. Those are probably chalk.
Whoa! What's with the Mac Jones disrespect?
Oh, come on, man. We not.
That is Mike.
So he cost me money yesterday. He's trash.
He did. He cost me money too, man. I took a parlay on him, but I'm not. But yeah, I think defensive rookie of the year, Michael Parsons. He had an incredible year. And offensive rookie of the year, that boy Jamar Chase, man. The fact
he lied to me.
The fact
he lied to me. He told me he couldn't catch.
The fact that he broke Ocho Cinco's all career receiving yards receiving in the season in his first year is fucking insane. Like it literally just blew my mind. But yeah, Jamar is insane. I would like to see comeback player of the year. There's a couple good. I guess you can make a couple good arguments on that. But Raz, I think we can start with you for comeback player of the year. Who would you pick for that?
All right, so I don't have one off the like super top of my head, but I'll tell you mid-season comeback of the year, Odell Beckham Jr. He was freed from the shackles of Baker Mayfield in the middle of the season and went on to show us went on to show us that he was still good at
let
football.
Our brother go.
And and it was crazy how people was they were bashing him. Odell's washed. He's not who. No, Baker Mayfield was playing quarterback, and we keep omitting that fact. And it's the moment he was free that first game, they didn't do too well, so everybody was with the narratives. Baker played well, and then since that very moment,
they got him off real quick. They got him off real quick that first game. It was nasty. It was nasty.
So I mean, I'll say shout out to Odell. I mean, he's not going to win it, obviously, but he's somebody that just in the top of my mind, who's somebody who had a comeback by leaving a bad situation.
How about you, Matt?
Dak. It's got to be Dak in my mind. I mean, you can make an argument for Burrow too, but I think it's Dak. I mean, I think that
Dak.
Like Burrow's weird, man, because like Burrow had like a really awesome end of the year, like the recency bias, like kind of just obviously that's what sticks in our minds. But like Burrow is being thrown around as like a top 3 MVP guy. I definitely am not buying that. Really good year. I like Joe Burrow a lot. But given the injuries and like they're both gruesome, but I would probably lean Dak in my mind.
Where do you stand on that, Kalu?
Oh man, it's a legitimate toss-up between the two people that Matt mentioned. Like Dak has been probably a little bit better, even though he's kind of had his peaks and valleys this year too. So I guess I'll lean in his direction, even though technically I guess Burrow's injury was hard to come back from. So I'll take Dak. Dak was a little bit better, but either one of those guys can win the award, and nobody should really have a gripe.
Yeah, I mean, Dak was just straight up ass when you really needed him most. When I needed him most, let me say that. So I'm going with Joe Shiesty on that one. I mean you can make the argument about comeback player of the year. I mean the recency bias. I feel like he was pretty solid throughout the whole year, and it was funny because I think, and we could talk about the playoffs in a second, but I think more so to I've really watched that Bengals team very closely throughout the whole season, and they won all type of games this year, and I think that's a pretty good sign for them this season and going forward. I think early in the early portion of the years they weren't asking Burrow to do as much. They were using the run game. They won some defensive struggles on that. But yeah, I think towards the as he really ended up catching his footing again on that back half of the season, I do think he really just the impact that I think a lot of the arguments between Burrow and Herbert. Herbert is incredible. I think those are 2 future Super Bowl winners. If I feel strongly about that for both of them, and I don't think I think it's real easy to fall in love with just what Justin Herbert brings to the table, but I don't think that's really a great argument to just say, oh, Joe Burrow doesn't have that same arm strength. He's not as good. I think the way he processes the game for a young quarterback, it's unlike anything else among his peers. There's not a lot of guys. I think even comparing to Raz, you just brought up OBJ, and this was just I was thinking about this recently, and even going back to when did OBJ look his best, and he played with the carcass of Eli Manning, not even the best Eli Manning we've seen. Eli was on his last legs at that point, but Eli's timing in the pocket, he always hit Odell in stride, and it kind of, I guess, the lesson we learned from Baker is it's harder than it looks. And if you go back and watch just a highlight reel of Joe Burrow's deep throws or Jamar Chase's explosive plays, he's hitting them in stride every time. And a lot of those, I think we take it for granted, but you know what I'm saying, things like that, I think it's a part of what makes him so damn good. So yeah, Joe Burrow, that's my damn guy. I'm giving him that award. Future is super bright. So yeah, I guess we are on the topic of wild card weekend. So I mean, Caleb, we can start with you on this one. But which one of these matchups from this weekend is priority viewing for you the most? For you that you're going to have to, set your weekend around to make sure you're not missing a snap.
Okay, I want to separate this into two answers. The hater sadistic part of me wants to see Ben Roethlisberger get buried in Arrowhead. I'm just get that out the way. That I want that.
It's a great point.
I think the Bengals and Raiders has sneaky, like, really good game potential. Like
that seems like a nut game,
right?
Waiting to happen,
like 38-34 kind of shit. Like it has that kind of potential. That game. I think that one. I think the 49ers and Cowboys has a really good game potential. Like styles make fights. The Niners play one way, the Cowboys play another way. Obviously, you have the Dallas Niner rivalry, even though they haven't played in the playoffs since I was 8. And as this whole podcast knows, I'm 82 years old. So
that's 40 years ago.
That's a long fucking time ago, obviously. But those two matchups in particular, like, I really want to watch. Yeah, I mean, those are the two I got. The Patriots and Bills is intriguing, assuming that there aren't 80-mile-an-hour winds again and they throw 2 passes. Like, that's pretty intriguing. But those two, the Bengals and Raiders and Niners and Cowboys, are the matchups I'm looking forward to watching the most.
Where are you at on that, Raz?
I mean, 49ers, Cowboys, I think that's going to be real physical. I think that's going to be a physical matchup. I would love to see the 49ers continue to just run the rock down people's throats. So, I mean, I think the 49ers is a team that nobody really wants to see just because of the way they do play. But to differentiate from K-Lou, seeing that he mentioned literally every single game that was there, that's not true. You left one game, brother.
Thorough analysis.
Like, I damn sure didn't mention Rams and Cardinals. Damn it.
I mean, I think that's going to be a shootout.
Family business. That's going to be a good game.
On Monday night, we got a Monday night wild card game. Goodell, he's too good. Goodell's too good. I've been saying this.
People hated that Monday night wild card game. I'm like, nah, this is
I like that idea. I don't hate it at all.
Nah, this is. Shout out to Goodell with that game. I think that game, they've played each other twice, obviously, this year. They're very familiar with each other. I think that's a game to watch for right there. Like that Monday night game can be electric. A great way to cap off that weekend.
I mean, Raz, real quick, not to cut you off, just a quick tangent, because I know we did want to cover this and we did not. So I suppose while in Rome, we can discuss Antonio Brown, brother. Thoughts? What else needs to be said? Thoughts? Where do you stand on this? I don't know. Do you stand with AB? Do you stand with Bruce Arians? Where are we at on this? I don't know if you peeped the interview AB did on some random pod. We were laughing at it earlier.
I've been trying to keep my mind clear of a lot of things, and I don't know who to choose. Just on the surface level, AB looks like he's wilding, leaving mid-game. That's never the way to handle it, right? But if what he says is true, he's still wilding, but he has a point. Like that's like he's still, let's throw it in there. He's still wilding, but he has a point. Like you can't, you gotta be professional at some point. But I don't know who to stand with. Like Bruce Arians looks like he can be a dick. AB is clearly
I think that's been confirmed already by past actions.
He's clearly a lunatic, AB. So it's just like one of those things where it's like, cool, like they literally both can be wrong in this situation. I think one of them has maybe played their last snap in the NFL for being wrong, but they both can be wrong. It's just as the player, you being wrong sometimes has a lot more ramifications to it than the coach.
Matt, Kalu, I don't know if you guys have any AB takes you need to.
He has not played his last snap. I can say that confidently.
Who
shows how damn.
Who you see picking him up?
Somebody. I don't know. Somebody. Would you be shocked that the Cowboys were like, you know what? Let's go sign him. Who cares? Would you be shocked?
Kind of.
They got a lot of wideouts.
Either way, Antonio Brown is that good. Where he's
somebody has to get hurt for them. Like if somebody blows an Achilles in training camp, I can see them giving AB a call.
AB's been off his fucking rocker for 4 years, and people keep giving him chance after chance. Even though, to be fair here, Tom Brady is a big part of this because that was 2 of his chances, but they keep giving him chance after chance after chance because the man is just cold as hell at football. So I think he's going to get another shot.
But that's my thing. When you drown the life raft that Tom Brady throws you twice in 2 years, it's just really hard to see a way back from that. It really is.
That's fair. A lot.
Because as much as I love to slander Brady, by all accounts, from everyone who's played with him, awesome teammate that will go out of his way to help. When you drown the life raft and then throw him under the bus and say, well, why does Gronk have all these guarantees in his contract that I don't? Oh, because Gronk hasn't burned his feet in the hyper whatever chamber and did all the loony shit that he did with the Raiders and all the loony shit that he did with Tomlin and the Steelers. Yeah, man, it's just tough to see a way back. He should be. That's not to dissuade. He should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. That probably won't happen at this point, but he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I feel good that he ain't getting it. If T.O. didn't get it on the first ballot,
correct.
Brown gets it on the first ballot.
T.O. and Harvin Marison, for that matter.
Breaking news in the world.
Harvin Marison. You know who Harvin Marison? We don't say his name.
I don't know who that is.
You think about it and get back to us on that.
But Sean, you said you had breaking news though.
Yeah, breaking news in the world of all things Geno Marino.
Geno Smith.
Just reported by Adam Schefter. Seahawks backup quarterback Geno Smith arrested on suspicion of DUI. This was important news. I did have to break into the show. Geno was drinking and driving. Playing for Pete Carroll probably will bring you to that. So we're gonna wish the best for the brother Eugene. But moving on, I did want to. I feel like this is a pretty good conversation to talk about it. Obviously, Raz, Kalu, we did have both of you guys on earlier when we did do our NFL draft quarterback breakdown show. Now, there's a lot of hoopla. There's a lot of just white noise. Lot of noise just to ignore when it comes to how we do rank these rookie quarterbacks. Now, I do think you got to have your priors. You don't want to just completely ignore the priors. Obviously, Peyton Manning had one of the worst. I think what did he have? What did he lead the NFL in interceptions his rookie year? So it's not, it's probably not wise to write off rookie quarterbacks in year one. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence was placed literally in NFL Siberia and hell on earth in Jacksonville. So it's pretty hard just to get a read on that. He looked pretty damn good in week 18 as he just ended the cold season, and he looked like the best quarterback on that field. So that is just something I would probably expect to continue going forward if we're just talking about AFC South quarterbacks. But Raz, I suppose we will start with you. If we had to re-rank the rookie quarterbacks, I want to also say before we do get here, I'm gonna say shout out to the brother Davis Mills. He had a pretty good under the radar rookie season. When we really talk about it, it's not sexy, but there's a reason why Tyrod Taylor's ass was on the bench to end the season. And the truth is he was damn good down the stretch. I think even going back to some of his, he was a heralded blue chip guy coming out of high school, and yeah, I think even he was a pretty clean prospect, and mechanically, whenever he's on time on target throwing, I think he showed a lot of that, and he was able to consistently get the ball. The rapport with Brandon Cooks was evident as soon as he did get into the lineup. So he showed some pretty damn good signs this year. But Raz, if you had to rank these rookie quarterbacks for 2023, 2022, whatever years is fucking me up right now. I'm sorry, it's the Omicron. Raz, how would you rank them?
I mean, there's no good way to put this.
They all stink.
Yeah.
This year. Let's just move on that. Let's start there.
I guess Mac Jones. Right?
Oh.
Whoa.
Wait, just for next season.
I said go for next year.
Going forward. Oh, I thought
you said to 2022. Okay,
going forward. I said the last part.
Who would you start a franchise with?
Raz, you are on the mic.
I know I'm on the clock. There's no good answer here, bro. Like,
you got your priors, you got your season, and you got to make an educated guess because that's the best we could do, honestly. Great content, bro.
Yeah, I know. This is bad for radio. Bad radio. I think I could be a homer and say Zach Wilson. That'd get me nowhere. I think.
Speak your truth, brother.
I'm
not gonna lie and say this is a judge-free zone, but
nah. I would say going forward, I'll probably still go Trevor Lawrence. Even
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Let's just say that as well.
Yeah, I'll go Trevor Lawrence. I go Zach Wilson. I go Justin Fields and Davis Mills. I mean, I guess Mac Jones and then Davis Mills. Like, Let's not forget Trey
Lance. He looked damn good last week, the week before.
I really haven't seen enough to put him there, but I guess Trey Lance.
Go back and watch that week.
I saw the game. It's just one of those things where it's like, all right, so yeah, sure. But I still feel like that's an incomplete grade in there. Like, I don't have enough to
They all are.
Base it. Yeah, they're all super incomplete, but he has the least film out of them all. So, I mean, go Trevor Lawrence 1, Zach Wilson 2, and then Fields and Mills, I guess off potential. You could be a toss-up, but I'll throw Mac Jones 3 just because he played all right this year, and he did show the ability to make some of these throws, even though some games he threw the ball like twice. But he didn't lose them many games, right? So I guess you got to go with that too. And then between Justin Fields and Zach, what's his name? Why not Zach Wilson? Davis Mills. I'll do a coin flip there. I want to see Justin Fields. I think he has the highest ceiling. But he looked bad, and to be fair, that offense was awful. So I need to see what he'll look like under this new regime.
All right, so for you, K-Lou, I will pivot this to you as somebody who's probably a little more impartial to some of the college stuff they did, and just basing them off what you saw this year. So if you had to really, make these educated guesses on what you've seen, this year to grade going forward, how would you really base what you saw, just kind of what you saw from them this year, the rookie quarterbacks?
The thing is, if you had your pre-draft rankings a certain way, I don't think a lot really changed because they all stunk. Like, all of them.
In their own beautiful, special way. Yeah.
Right. All of them stunk. Like, I'm not blaming
depending
them.
On when you watch them.
What it was.
Depending on when you watch them.
All of them basically stunk. So it's like, and then Trey Lance is basically an incomplete grade. So it's like, all right, Trevor Lawrence. I like Trevor Lawrence better than all of them coming out. I guess I just have to stick with that. I like Fields second. I liked Wilson third, and I like Lance fourth. Once you get past Lawrence, 2, 3, 4 can go any which way you want, really. Davis Mills is probably better than most of us are giving him credit for because he plays for the Texans, and nobody cares about the fucking Texans, and nobody's watching the Texans. But he looks good.
Before you finish that point, though, Kayla, and not to be Brandon Marshall and talk over you, I do apologize.
No, but go ahead, man. You ain't doing it every 5 seconds like he do. Go ahead.
What did you see from Zach? And like I said, he played really good week 17. Week 18 was disgusting. I would just throw that out. There's nothing to be seen. Not much to be seen from what was put on film on week 18. But before we do get you out of here, the good and the bad, the ups and the downs. What did you make of year one of the Zach Wilson experience as a Jets fan? There's a lot there to work with. And sometimes the frustrating part of Zach, I feel like, is the little stuff with him. And Matt, I'm sorry, we had this conversation pre-draft as well, where I brought up Johnny. I said this of Johnny Manziel in there, and people said no. Sometimes, but like, bro, he does things where he's just like running with his head on fire in the pocket, just mindlessly. And I'm like, I don't know how you can't say that's not Johnny Manziel. Like the arm is.
But it's the arm. But that's the arm.
But I mean, I'm saying full package. I'm saying
but,
full package.
But the arm.
I think even when we had that conversation, I think we might be underrating Johnny as a prospect coming out and clouded because he was a damn alcoholic, which is fair enough. It's hard to get that.
I was about to say Zach actually cares about football. That's a big difference.
Yeah. So like he's an alcoholic. So that
stylistically, like I see the point though. As far as Zach and his up and downs, I mean, he looked like a different guy after he came back from his injury. He was considerably better. I mean, granted, that bar is in hell, but the point remains he was considerably better after he came back. I think he went the last 5 games without a turnover.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's progress.
Mm-hmm.
He looked way more accurate than he was the first part of the season. He was making better decisions with the football. Like he looked sharper. Like he was making better decisions with the football. He was more productive. The Jets offense was moving better. They were moving more crisply with him. I don't know what to make of him because quite frankly, the sample's too fucking small. And I was out here doing the most for Sam fucking Darnold. So I learned my lesson in that regard.
You had a Sam Darnold jersey. I want you to know the first time I met you, you had on a green Sam Darnold jersey, which it was black.
Yeah, it was black. It was black.
Either way, questionable. Anytime you're buying, that's quarterback jersy. You're down bad, and you had the wool over your eyes, and it happens. So
exactly, it won't be me again, though.
Go ahead. Yeah,
it won't be me again. No, go ahead.
No more Jets quarterback. No more Jets quarterback jerseys for you. Get a
take out the quarterback part. I ain't buying no Jets jerseys.
Right? That's probably better business too. But if you had to get one, you seem like the type of guy who's going to buy another one. So
all it takes is one spectacular.
Why'd you get the Sam Darnold jersey though?
Look, man, the end of 2018, he looked dope, and I thought he was on his way. I was fucking wrong, and I bought that jersey before the Adam Gase hire. To be fair to me, here, once they hired Adam Gase, like, ooh, that might not go great, and then it didn't. So. Zach looked good down the stretch. We'll see how it translates. I will say this as far as a major difference between Zach and Sam Darnold situations is Zach doesn't have a coffee drinking idiot running his running the team like Darnold did with Mike McCagnon. So that's a major difference. I think Joe Douglas will put the right players around him. I feel confident saying that if Zach Wilson fails, it will be about him.
Gotcha. So, I mean, I just hope you learn your lesson for putting the white man's name on your back.
Some poor kid in Serbia is wearing Kalu's Darnold jersey right now. Let's just but Matt, where do you stand on these rookie quarterbacks before we get on there?
Still go Trevor 1. This might be a little bit of my preconceived notion of him before he came into the league. I still think I would go Fields 2, Zach 3. I would take my chances with Trey Lance, I think, over Mac Jones, and then Davis Mills after that.
Did I miss Wilson? Did I miss Zachary?
Zach 3.
No, yeah, Zach 3.
Zach 3.
Yeah, I think just for me, because I'm smart enough to be open to being wrong, and like every time I watch Zach, I can see, like I said earlier, I can see the good, I can see the bad. With him, I think his pocket precision, just accuracy, throwing on. We talk a lot about off platform, but his on platform stuff is where he's. What I'm saying, he might throw it in the dirt. He might airmail it. I think learning to take the easier plays is something that I would love to see from him in year 2. I think if I really compare him to an advantage he's going to have compared to Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence, playing in the same system, I think that's going to be a huge advantage. I think that's not really something we can tangibly, put a number on how important that is. But I think just in terms of, I saw a crazy stat about Daniel Jones about how, regardless of what you think about Daniel Jones, and I don't think nobody's here carrying Daniel Jones water or anything, but I think he's had like 4 offensive coordinators in like 4 years or something something crazy like that, which is just damn near impossible to succeed like that. So I think that's a pretty good advantage.
And I mean, they
that
hired
Zach.
Jason fucking Garrett. Sorry to cut you off, but
Oh
they hired
no, that's a
Jason
great.
fucking
I mean, it had to be said.
Garrett.
I mean,
Like,
just
malpractice of the highest order. For your
I
sake.
think
I heard Joe
I
Judge about to
think
be the
that-
president too.
I think that the biggest thing that stood out in the Tampa game was probably the best game he played his rookie year. This is what stood out the most. But the timing and the rhythm in that game were really, really outstanding for a rookie quarterback. And that was against a Super Bowl winning defense. And that was against a team that had something to play for in terms of seeding in the NFC. That was probably the biggest thing that stood out to me. And that's kind of, I feel like that kind of gets lost in the sauce when you're evaluating quarterbacks sometimes, but being able to be on time and in rhythm with your receivers is an enormous, and playing within the scheme is an enormous part of a quarterback's success. And that's why I think he did probably better than anything else in the 4 weeks before yesterday. I mean, like I said, yesterday they had KFC fry cooks on the field, so I'm not going to evaluate that too hard. But in the 4 weeks before that, that's probably the biggest thing that stood out to me.
Yeah, I think as far as like just to touch on Justin Fields pretty quickly before we move on. Yeah, I think like I would take, like I said, I think depending on when you watch them and what period you evaluate them, you're going to see a lot of like I said, beauty is the eye of the beholder with these rookie quarterbacks. Like I would take Justin's, like what he did on Monday Night Football against the Steelers is probably it's up there for the most impressive performances that we did see from a rookie. And I think even we talked a lot of shit about the jet scheme and how, you know what I'm saying, just horrible it looked for, you know, prolonged periods of time during the season. Yeah, Matt Nagy was running the plays that didn't work in Madden, and it was just impossible for me to like get a read on what's going on, especially like Matt. It's like, bro, they're running like all curls. It's like, bro, that's like an install on like the first day of JV football practice, bro. You can tell when some of these plays don't work. Justin's another one. Like I said, I think some of the little things with him as well. Just about, I think one he has to learn to take better care of the football. I think that was also on display at Ohio State. I don't even mean like I think a bunch of, like, if I had to go back and chart a lot of his interceptions, I would at least say maybe like 4 or 5 of them might have been like on kind of like came out of the receiver's hands or like broken plays, to where I wouldn't read too much into those numbers in year one. But yeah, the fumbling problem is definitely a legit issue with him, and he's going to need to learn to take care of the football, because you're gonna have to value the pigskin. And yeah, I think another one, I think it's a pretty good, you know, nature first nurture thing when you talk about what's the best thing to do for your quarterback. Do you really want to throw him behind a trash line and a bad team that's not really set up for him to win, and the confidence to get shaken up? So but yeah, I think K-Lou, you made a lot of great points about just I think a lot of you don't really want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. No, losing Isaiah shit going on with these rookie quarterbacks, saving Isaiah going on with these quarterbacks. And yeah, like I think about the 2018 draft a lot, man. Like Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold, Baker. Like quarterback evaluation is hard, man, and there's a bunch of just variables that go into these kids being good. Even I think we would all like all these kids are talented, but yeah, it takes a lot organizationally, talent wise, and just developing the right way. So I mean, before we do get out of here, K-Lou has to go run and record one of his million podcasts, but can we get a Super Bowl prediction from the good brother K-Lou?
I'm gonna go the chalk jaded Jets fan perspective prediction. I'm going with Tampa Bay over Kansas City again, because I will believe that somebody beats Tom Brady in this wild ass NFL year where we don't know shit. I will believe that somebody beats him when they actually do it. So that's my prediction. And thank you for having me on. And then I'll see y'all when I see y'all.
Appreciate it, brother. We get y'all on here real soon. Yeah, shout out to K-Lou, man. Go listen to all his podcasts, all of them in K-Lou. Powered You, Middle Initial Podcast, all that good stuff, man. Shout out to everybody, all K-Lou shit. So yeah, moving on. I will next question for you, Matt. If you had to choose a higher ranked seed that's on upset alert, serious upset alert, that you think will get knighted this weekend, next weekend? Who do you think is the top seed most likely to just pull a blunder and like get slandered and just drop the ball?
So we're talking top 2 seeds?
Top half seeds. What is it, like 8, 7, or 8 at this point? So I would say like top
7. I think this weekend. So to be honest, I think that the 49ers being the popular upset pick for this weekend against Dallas kind of tells me everything I need to know about how that game's going to go. And that's kind of actually just like the gambler in me a little bit, like just fade the public. I don't think that is I like it's not a great matchup for Dallas, but I also kind of question if San Francisco is going to have the answers for their offense through the air with that secondary, unless Nick Bosa and Armstead and them are just getting home consistently, which is possible. Is Tyron Smith supposed to play? I don't know.
Line's been incredible.
Yeah. If the Cowboys' offensive line holds up, I think they're going to have big problems trying to contain CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. You shouted him out a couple of days ago. Cedric Wilson has been really good every time he's gotten an opportunity this year, as has Dalton Schultz, who I hope is a future New York Jet.
Yep.
It's a lot. That offense is really good. Can the 49ers score 30-plus on the road? Because they might have to win that game. I'm not as high on them of an upset pick as everyone else is, just being completely honest. So if we take that, I mean, I can still see it. But outside of them, I mean, the Cardinals really, really ran up on the Rams early in the season with, I believe they were missing some pretty key players in that game. But then the Rams went to Arizona a couple weeks ago and just totally mauled them. And the Cardinals have not looked good down the stretch. So I'm kind of hesitant to say that. But there's going to be one. I'm with you. I kind of have a weird feeling about Raiders Bengals, but I'm still not sure that the Raiders corners can hold up against Jamar and T. I don't know, man. It's tough. It's tough to really pinpoint. There's going to be one, but it's tough to pinpoint. I guess I would say most likely is San Francisco, Dallas, but I'm not as high on the 49ers upset as a lot of other people are. I guess I'll say that.
Raz, if you had to take an underdog money line, like I said, same kind of theory here. You know what I'm saying? Just where do you think the money is for an underdog that who would you be leaning towards if you think you could get a good bet off this weekend?
I would, funny things happen in the playoffs. So I would throw a little money on the Patriots, unfortunately.
Yep.
I would like to see, what Bill Belichick cook up there. Obviously the Niners, like Matt said, the public is leaning that way. I think it's a decent play. Skeptical because everybody likes to play. Cardinals, Rams, sure. I don't think anyone's really an underdog, but in terms of betting wise, I guess the Cardinals is a great play there. And I think if you want a long shot, you pray for wacky things to happen down in Tampa, man. I think, if the Eagles could control the rock by running it, and keep the ball. It's going to be tough, right? It's going to be tough, but if they can keep the ball out of Tom Brady's hands, they got a shot.
I think, honestly, I don't know how much more you want to hit on the individual game, Sean. I think that is probably the worst, the most lopsided matchup in terms of style of the weekend because
on paper for sure.
It's just style because the Eagles are all about running the ball, and you can make the argument there's no better run defense in football than Tampa. And then the question becomes, you got to beat Tampa on the edges and in the secondary. I like Devontae Smith a lot, and Jalen Hurts has shown a lot of growth this year to be positive about. But can he go to Tampa and do that enough to beat? Can he beat the Buccaneers with his arm over the course of 60 minutes if they take the run game away? I'm just really skeptical on that.
So yeah, with that, I think that's a great point, right? We need to see Jalen Hurts be able to beat somebody in the air. They have some of the playmakers to do it, right? And like you said, the traditional running game is going to be tough. It depends on how well Todd Bowles is going to contain Hurts. And I think if he's able to make plays with his feet, with the threat of using his arm, or the reverse, I guess, make plays with his arm because of the threat of using his feet, I think he has a chance. And I'm not saying, like I said, it's not a smart money play. I think it's a long shot for sure, but like obviously, we're fishing right now. We're looking for money line dogs. We gave the ones that we think are kind of like the best bets, but I wouldn't be mad if somebody put a little money on that just because it looks so lopsided on paper. I have to see it play out. Now,
I think
don't bet your house on it. But
I think Goddard is another guy that is going to have a huge game if they're going to win.
Possible though, it's very possible. Like that secondary of Tampa, like the seam route is something Jalen Hurts can hit. I worry about him hitting Devonta on the edge. Like he struggled getting him the ball for most of the season. I have him on my fantasy team, so I know that firsthand. But I think Dallas Goedert is somebody who could work the seam, and if he becomes that threat and over the middle, that's going to open up some of the stuff for his legs as well, because that takes a bit of the spy off.
I think for me, if I had to like a real sleeper pick, I think especially the way the Niners are playing down the stretch, man. I don't think a lot of people are like, I wouldn't say afraid of them, but I don't know. I would be kind of terrified of them right now. Like I said, we said earlier about the line, which is playing at a ridiculous level. Even I think they're probably like a top 7 unit. I think the run defense, second best rush DVOA this season. I think they're going to be able to probably contain the run game of Dallas in that game, and we've seen them win games in the playoffs previously. So I think I wouldn't really be surprised if we're looking at the night. I mean, obviously you take losing the wild card game, but I wouldn't be surprised if they broke off a couple wins in this postseason, just the way that they are playing now. We can get out of here on a couple of I mean, Raz, you did put the grim state of affairs of New York football on both sides. Just MetLife. I don't really like talking about the Giants in public, Raz. Like, I mean, what more needs to be said on that? I don't know.
So I mean, for the Giants, just outside looking in, finally welcome y'all to the other side of MetLife. You see what's going on. You're not familiar with what we've been dealing with for majority.
I've never seen a Jets game that empty as that last Giants game was. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's definitely a new low for Big Blue, and I think Joe Judge still having a job as we speak, right?
Racism
is one it's one of those things where it's like, how could you justify it, right? A new GM's gonna have to come in with a coach he didn't hire. And then there were reports saying that Joe Judge has been lobbying for like more power to kind of build the team in his likeness. And it's like, is that something that Giants fans can stomach? I got Giants fans are talking like the world is falling, the sky is falling, which is true. Bro. I mean, it is.
Sundays
y'all over the cap limit. How many games y'all won this year?
4?
4.
5?
4 games. Both of them went 4-13.
Copy. So y'all over. A lot of your signings have done nothing. Draft picks have been kind of, So it's like, people are like, who has it worse right now, and it's like it's hard to say, right? Because the Jets are also 4-13. But if you're looking at outlooks, unfortunately, the Jets are a cycle bit ahead of in the rebuild process than the Giants, because the Giants weren't supposed to be rebuilding.
I think I would probably agree with that. The Giants might have the worst outlook outside of maybe the Texans, and you might be able to talk me into the Texans, being a step ahead of where we are. I think we have a more talented roster than them, but yeah, it's just completely bad. John Mara is a cancer and a just complete joke. I think we talk about this a lot, and like even with just the way Jerry Reese was done, and you can say whatever you want about Jerry Reese. The end, he has some spotty records at the end of his career. when it came to some of those classes that he drafted. But regardless of what you think about him, he had 8 winning seasons in 11 years, 2 Super Bowl championships. And even the year before, if I have my timeline correct, they went 11-5 when he got fired. So, and that was we haven't sniffed anything close to 11-5 since. So yeah, man, I just think the Giants organization, I wouldn't trust. Like I said, I tweeted this earlier. I wouldn't trust them to get my order right from Chick-fil-A, let alone turn this franchise around. So
Joe Judge might make Pat Shurmur and Ben McAdoo look like Vince Lombardi and John Madden.
He makes McAdoo look like a genius.
And he apparently did you read the report tonight that he wants to have power or some power at least over the GM search, which is insane.
I don't even know why they hired a special teams coach to begin with. Like that Belichick shit was a fucking outlier, bro. Like, bro, if no disrespect to all the special teams.
Jameson Williams hurt his knee. That's not good. Sorry, keep going.
No disrespect to all of the special team coaches out there, man. But come on, man. That's like 15 minutes at the end of practice, man. Like we run the installs to special teams. That's at the end. Like, come on. Like, we not really like to think he had. And the guys obviously, Mara kept him around. Like the team didn't quit on him. Like this is easily the most inept offense in the league. I think they scored 23 touchdowns, which was like this was like still like 5 or 6 below like the next couple teams. Like the Giants were just completely like just a fucking disgrace, bro. Like they're a horrible team. But yeah, man, I think
that Jameson Williams injury is not good. I will say, I just want to throw one more thing. There are a lot of people saying that the Jets 4-13 feels significantly different than the Giants, which it does in a way, because I think above anything, like Saleh, Michael LaFleur, and Joe Douglas. Even if Joe Douglas hasn't been perfect, they seem to have an idea enough of what they're doing. And I think that Saleh and LaFleur have a locker room that's bought in at the very least. As a Jets fan, I can't say it feels significantly better until we know what Zach Wilson is.
It doesn't seem like the Jets are on the verge of a mutiny. Like that's what the Giants locker room looks like. Like so, like if we compare it to that.
Wait. Now, this time next year, if Zach makes that big sophomore leap that a lot of quarterbacks do, even just like a decent sophomore leap, then maybe I'll say this feels much different. But until that becomes evident, I can't jump to the conclusion that the Jets are so much further ahead.
Yeah, I would also agree with that. I think, and we could end on this front. So, just looking off a little fantasy stuff. For 2022, but we could go around the horn on this, and this is before we might bring you guys. We might try and set up another way too early mock draft for the channel and see where we're looking at. But if we're just talking about, a couple questions. And you could take it wherever you want. We could go dynasty league buy lows, young players, somebody who. We haven't talked about him, but I did want to say shout out to Amon-Ra St. Brown, man. He had an amazing second half of the season. Everything was on display with him. This is tough. If you look I forgot who I said it, but it was a perfect comparison. If he was like a Debo light, like he has some of that in him, man. Just his run after catch stuff. He's like running through guys, making dudes miss. Amon-Ra is a real gritty, no pun intended, real just good receiver, man. His future is bright, and I think. I'm so jealous of the Lions right now. I would die for Dan Campbell to be the Giants coach right now. Shout out to Man Campbell. But yeah, just if we're just going dynasty league buy lows, undervalued players for 2022, or somebody who you're really interested in where their ADP will be and where they're going to be drafted in drafts next summer. Matt, we can start with you on that one.
I was just running through the teams real quick. Gabriel Davis is definitely one name that comes to mind, especially with what he did at the end of the season when Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley were hurt. I think that Josh Allen really showed that he has a lot of trust in him, especially in the red zone, which is obviously where fantasy league winners are made. So if that continues into next year, that's definitely one name that comes to mind. I have him inside the huddle. Give me as much, especially at Dynasty League, give me as much Tony Pollard as possible because he's showing the ability to be a good
man.
Huh?
I don't think Zeke is going anywhere next year.
No, but if Zeke were to break down, which, you hope it doesn't happen, he's as durable as they come.
Yeah.
But if that were to happen, then Tony Pollard could instantly become a league-winning caliber back. And at the very least, I mean, as Zeke's backup, he's already shown that he has standalone value by himself. Just looking through other teams here. Hold on. Cole Kmet, depending on the situation in Chicago, and if they get a good enough offensive mind in there, that seemed like someone that outside of Darnell Mooney, which is another name that I would bring up. Those are a couple of guys that Justin Fields really likes. So I would say that if they get a good enough offensive mind in there, those are a couple of guys. Are we going outside the rookie scale from this year?
Any young dudes, any guys who just you think can be undervalued next year?
Rashad Bateman, with a full summer to work with Lamar, is definitely one that I'll be interested in see how that works out.
Yeah, that's a good one for sure.
Let's look at other teams here. I'm curious what he's someone I have in inside the huddle or dynasty league. I'm curious what Russell Gage does next year, depending on over a full season, depending on if Calvin Ridley goes back there. There have been some reports that he and the team might want a fresh start. So if so, then I think that, it becomes a matter of, does Russell Gage become Matt Ryan's favorite target again, or does Kyle Pitts just kind of usurp a lot of that value? I'll just throw out one more name that I'm interested to see what happens, and that's Najee Harris, because if you were to run back this situation next year, I think Najee Harris would have a pretty good argument to be maybe the first running back off the board outside of Jonathan Taylor. But if they bring in a quarterback that is not as much of a check down Charlie as Ben Roethlisberger is, then maybe his value takes a bit of a hit. I'm just curious to see how that plays out. But yeah, just a couple names that kind of popped to mind.
How about you, Raz?
I mean, I'll stay home. I want to see somebody where somebody like Michael Carter gets drafted. That's somebody who has shown the ability to make plays. I think he's gonna have to find a role. Where is he gonna be the every down back? I don't know if he's built to do something like that, but when do you get to put him in that gadget role where he, is running the draws, he's catching the passes? I think it's something where he has to develop in that offense. That's somewhere to look. I think you start looking at places that are strange, like Seattle, right? Like where some of those, like freaking Penny at the end of the year looks like Barry Sanders, right?
You stole my list, man. While we're on my guy, yeah, just real quick, because Rashad Penny, if you league winner, hashtag league winner. Since week 14, he ranked first in rushing yards, 671. First with 16 runs of 10 plus yards. First with 485 yards for after contact. 12 runs of 15 plus yards, 6 touchdowns in those 4 weeks. Rashad Penny was incredible. He looked like the type of back that they envisioned that they were getting when they took him in the first round. What was it, 4 years ago at this point? He looked completely healthy. Where the hell does he get drafted next year? I don't know, man.
It's Chris Carson there.
I think he looks better than Chris Carson.
I agree.
And Chris Carson, I don't know possibly what their level. I'm without looking, I'm not sure what their level of investment. Did they sign Carson to an extension?
I think he got an extension.
But Chris Carson can't really stay healthy. So, but not to cut you off, Raj, you can't continue.
Yeah, no problem. And somebody like J.K. Dobbins coming off an injury.
Yep.
Where do you take him? I think that's, he's still somebody that's going to provide great value. And then when you start getting into people that, didn't really get to play this year, like Travis Etienne, what do you do with a running back there? I think Jacksonville, once they get that new regime in, is going to have to figure that out, because he has the ability to be a weapon, but, the elephant in the room is there. James Robinson is there, and that's a very good running back. So it's one of those things where
does he play next year though?
Who, James Robinson?
Yeah.
For Jacksonville?
Oh, he blew his
in general. Yeah, he he might not play, but
I mean, I will know if he's Cam Akers. And
that's what I'm saying. Like people coming back,
man.
people coming back,
recover like Wolverine.
And then somebody who really lost people, some money this year. If he gets out of his situation, what do you do with somebody like Allen Robinson? He's somebody who lost people a lot of money because he hasn't produced, and this offense has hamstrung a bunch of people. But if he's able to break free of this situation and get to a quarterback that will throw him the rock, that's somebody who comes right back to being, one of the wideouts that we're talking about each week. So I think those are just some names there. And I think somebody like Hunter Renfrow, unfortunately he's a very useful player on the field. I want to see, and fantasy, depending on which week you have him, right? So I want to see what his full season fantasy outlook is going to be next year, because he's continued to establish himself as Derek Carr's weapon.
Yeah, there's a couple guys. You hit on J.K. Dobbins. He would definitely be somebody who I would be looking at as a buy low before. I think that price is going to be rising. Basically, the closer we get to pre-draft season for fantasy football. I would also say, man, somebody who just looked impressive, and it does seem like Kyle Shanahan has a hard on for him, and it might, depending on what happens in the playoffs. Elijah Mitchell, he looked like just found money, man. It looked like a $50 bill that they just found in their pocket, in a pair of jeans that they haven't worn in months. So he might be all the things lead back on that team next year. He was dominating all of the touches for them next year. So I don't know. It might be one of those situations it would be real interesting just to throw some offers on to the Elijah Mitchell owner in your dynasty league, just to see how much they believe in him long term. Sometimes when you get those guys that don't exactly have the high round capital guys, they're usually a little easier to get if you could throw a nice little bag at them. Where does Javonte Williams get drafted next year? Definitely will be.
That UNC backfield was incredible, man. Like, I don't know how they were both on the same team. You know what I'm saying? Like those running backs are studs.
I know we talked about it a million times, man. Like, I'm sorry, we can do this. Like, Melvin Gordon wasn't damn near as washed or as people thought he was. He had a good season this year. People just didn't want to admit it. But the LOLs, we have to get these jokes off. He is a free agent next year. So it is going to be Javonte's backfield next year, all things considered. But you never know. Melvin's probably going to go somewhere and, you know what I'm saying, just kill the fantasy hopes of another young running back next year, like he does on a year-to-year basis. I did love the Rashad Bateman shout that you did give out, Raz. That's a pretty damn good one.
That was Matt, but I'll take it too.
Was you? Yeah, it was Matt. My bad. Matt, yeah, you definitely did give a pretty good shout. He was
one of my people to watch when we was doing that the mocks and stuff like that. But that he got hurt. But Rashad Bateman, it's a shame. It's a shame he went to Baltimore, as we said to our brothers, part of the flock.
So we can block in the wing T offense?
He's blocking in the wing T. So hopefully he builds that rapport with Lamar, because he's a very talented route runner and a very talented receiver. So, throw to somebody else besides Hollywood and Mark Andrews.
Hey,
go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So I don't know if this is just a name that just popped to mind. It's one I'm interested in. I get the injury concerns, but I think that from the very early mocks I've seen, I am probably going to be drafting a lot of Jesus Christ LaMelo. McCaffrey at like 11 or 12, depending on the quarterback situation there, that is a little wild to me for a guy that
stay healthy.
My thing is, I don't draft scared, so you got to be willing to make the big bucks. Like, I'm willing to get a dud and just shoot for the moon.
He's still, in the last 2 years, he's been hurt a bunch, but when he's played, he's put up McCaffrey fantasy numbers.
They gave him I don't know, without looking, I know I tweeted this before, but the touches that they gave him in 2 years, bro, those are the type of touches that break your body down. So it's roulette with CMC. Could be a top 2 running back. Could play 3 games. We really don't know what the hell is going to happen with CMC. But yeah, I don't really advise going into my drafts pussyfooting around and being scared. You know what I'm saying? We're going for the money. We playing in these big leagues. You trying to win some
I'm just saying, like if he's at 11 or 12,
Yeah.
I'm probably going to be investing a lot of that.
So I think this is just my list of a couple guys I had. Just deep sleeper guys. For me at least. Or just guys that I would be trying to acquire in my dynasty leagues. Tight end, I'm gonna say. I think Jameis getting hurt really kind of mucked up some of the value that Adam Troutman showed. I think he has potential to be a really good tight end. Throwing darts end of year next year, possibly. Let's see if they get a if I don't know if they're gonna bring James back or get a QB upgrade, but you know what I'm saying Sean Payton is in love with Taysom Hill, so probably not. I would also say Nico Collins. I think he kind of flashed down the stretch. There's a couple games I think showing the skill set of a contested grab guy, somebody who I think even his jump ball ability is incredible, and that was really on display a lot at Michigan. But I think some of the report he showed with Davis Mills showed some good signs for the future. I don't know what happens with Brandon Cooks this year. They possibly could trade him in the offseason. We'll see. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of targets on that team next year, and I think Nico Collins is definitely somebody who possibly end of redraft and in dynasty leagues. If I have a deep roster, I would definitely be trying to send some type of package to acquire him. And a couple guys I would also say Josh Palmer. I think he I don't know, man. That might just be the Herbert pack, man. I don't know what's gonna happen with Mike Williams. I think Mike Williams Mike Williams is a free agent this season, this offseason. So it's gonna be interesting. I could see them also. We talked about this earlier with them needing to really invest in the defense this year, particularly the defensive line. But if they take a day two receiver, really wouldn't be shocked. But Josh Palmer is somebody who has a lot of room for upside over there. I would also say also shout out to Khalil Herbert, man. I don't really see the opportunity for him next year, but I just think he looked amazing in the opportunities that he got this year with the Bears. So remains to be seen, but definitely a long-term stealth dynasty piece. But yeah, man, that's gonna wrap us up. We could wrap us up on. I don't know if did we get our Super Bowl picks from you guys? We can end on.
We get some Super Bowl picks for sure.
We could end on this pick, Matt. The good brother Matt. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe he's going to refrain from the homerism here, but what's the Super Bowl pick for you?
Is it homerism if I'm keeping it real? I mean, I think that they.
Debatable.
I think the Packers have probably not the easiest path there, but it's gonna be cold 2 weekends from now, and I don't know if it's gonna be cold the weekend after that, but 2 games at Lambeau, and they are probably the only team in the field that is healthier going into the playoffs than they were for most of the regular season. Got Bakhtiari back yesterday, got Josh Myers, their starting center, back yesterday. Should get Jair Alexander and Zadarius Smith back for the playoff game. Randall Cobb too. I have them beating Buffalo in the Super Bowl.
How about you, Raz?
Buffalo. I'm gonna keep it chaotic. I'm gonna go Chiefs Rams. Let's just a little chaos. Chiefs Rams. I want to see some. I mean, I could obviously see the Packers winning. That Lambeau home field is no joke. But yeah, let's go Chiefs Rams. Let's put that on wax. And if that doesn't happen, I'm okay with it. I'm here for any type of chaos in the NFL playoffs because it's one game and you move on. So it's nothing beat other than NCAA tournament. NFL playoffs are they're that thing.
Right? Like it's no fun in saying fucking Chiefs, fucking versus Bucks, bro. Like obviously, I think there's a part of us that will all.
I really, Tampa. It's tough, man. No Godwin, no AB. It's tough. Like I think Godwin is their most important receiver in terms of what he does in the middle of the field for Brady. I think Antonio Brown was going to make up for a lot of that, and then he said, "Fuck it, I quit." So it's just tough, man.
Let's be honest, though. None of us is buying this Tennessee pack, right?
No.
Nah. I mean, Derrick Henry.
Maybe for one game, but not the whole thing, not the AFC Championship.
I could foresee a scenario where Derrick Henry is just running through team secondaries like Marshawn
Fresh
Lynch.
legs.
It's like a 5% chance, but I really wouldn't put no money on that. But I don't know, man. Real off kilter. I'm gonna just say fuck it. 'Cause I don't really give a fuck. I ain't putting no money on this. I'm gonna say fuck it. I'm gonna say Bengals and Cardinals.
Bengals, Cardinals would be.
Fuck it. I don't really.
That'd be explosive too, right? Is D when is D Hop
I
coming back?
I don't know. Yeah, I think
so.
I think he said he should be good for round one. But yeah, man, that's gonna wrap us up for today, man. Shout out to the good brother K. Lou for hopping on with us. Shout out to our Packers insider, Matt Enfield. Matt, let the people know where they can follow you and all that good shit, my guy.
Yes, sir. Twitter at Matt_Infield. Instagram's the same thing. I probably won't accept your follow request, but you can give it a shot.
And yeah, like I said, we got a lot of content coming for you guys. NBA draft, NFL draft coming soon. Be on the lookout. We're also gonna have that. I might have some. We're working on some fantasy baseball. Got some real good episodes that we're gonna be real excited for coming up on that front. But yeah, Raz, take us out of here, G's.
Yeah, man. If y'all watching this, obviously national championship on tonight. It's been a real defensive slugfest right now. So make sure you guys, once y'all tune in, because y'all be listening to this after, let us know what y'all thought about that. If y'all made any money off that Alabama money line, like we said. But we're gonna be back with y'all real soon. Got a lot of good stuff. The playoffs, NBA is starting to heat up. As NFL gets into that playoff mode, we start looking ahead to basketball. And obviously college and all this draft stuff that's going to come up. So this has been the Draft Season Podcast. Thank you for rocking with us. As always, we'll be back very shortly. It's your boy, Young Raz.